A very good morning to you, and I'm Malcolm Grahamwood, and it's great to be back on Core Finance TV. Today I have a very special guest with me today. I've got Ed Bowen, who's the Commercial Director of EDR. Very good morning, Ed.
Malcolm, thank you for having me on again.
It's good to have you back. You've been
you.
here before.
I have indeed.
But today you're flying under a new banner.
I am, so it was great sadness. I left EPI earlier this year, but I'm now back in business and raring to go again.
So, what's the plan? I'm sure you've got something to tell us. What are you doing? What are you up to?
So, my wife and I, Samantha, we set up a dedicated geophysical consultancy. We have begun trading already, and Sam was the previous managing director of EPI before she took a step out to have children. Now that they're back in full-time education, we are joined together. She's the daughter of the founders, so we've got a good pedigree behind us, and we're raring to go.
So it's not as if you haven't worked with her before.
Indeed, so I'm now, Malcolm, working with my wife and my mother-in-law.
Oh my goodness.
Who sits as a board advisor. So, as I say to all my clients, I'm never scared of a challenge.
Well, that's good news. And how many other people on the team, the staff, the officers you?
So we've got about 10 of us to start with. We've got a full accounts function. We've got business development and a back office to run the operations. So the business is fully capitalised. It's got no debt in it, and we're working for some like-minded clients who we've looked after for the last 15 or so years, and they've also attracted a number of industry-recognised consultants who have joined the team.
And your business before grew from a sort of family business into something more substantial as well, didn't it? So
That's right. So we grew EPI from a small family business to the world's second largest seismic consultancy, and we're now free, and we're essentially doing the same sort of thing, but we're concentrating on geographies and clients where we can really add the most amount of value.
Excellent. So, have you actually formally launched yet? Have you got websites and
yes,
everything underway?
Indeed.
Tell me about it.
The business is launched. We launched a little over a month ago, and we've had a phenomenal reaction. It's been quite incredible, the positive market sentiment that we felt, and I think because the competitive landscape has changed so much over the last few years, and that's largely market driven. Actually, another competitor in the market is a good thing for clients. And hopefully we bring a slight difference to some of those players already in existence.
Excellent. Now, before we go into detail of the business, I'd be interested to know your view on the state of the market for oilfield services companies. And I mean, it's such a sort of fragmented market in a way, but there are some themes and so on. So, what's your view on the marketplace at the moment?
So the market over the last 4 years has been incredibly tough. There's no doubt that as operators slashed their budgets, got rid of people, and indeed completely shelved their work programs, that presented a real challenge for the service sector, and I think that's been well documented. What's now very apparent is there's a lack of expertise, particularly specialist expertise, within the operators. And if you look at some of them who have got assets spread all over the world, actually that presents challenges. So if you're going to conduct some seismic in Papua New Guinea, where the cost is in the region of $250,000 a line kilometre for heliportable operations, you need a very specific skill set to undertake that, just as you do if you're going to explore on the North Slope in Alaska, where the sheer remoteness and temperatures actually present a whole different variety of challenges. So the operators can't retain that talent in-house. They're going to need to come to specialist providers like ourselves. Yeah,
so subcontracting quite a lot of the work and working on some of the sort of the land bank, as it were, rather than they already have in-house.
That's right.
So let's get into some of the detail. What are you in particular doing, and in what parts of the market are you really going to play?
So our main focus is South America, Africa, that's North and Sub-Sahara, as well as Europe. Those are the sort of principal areas where we're going to operate, and the consultant network that we have really supports that. Having said that, we're nimble enough to be able to go where the operators want us to go. So that's where we're going from a service point of view. And then in terms of how we're able to do it, we've put a team together that can actually run a whole asset for an operator, either on our own or as part of an integrated team. And then we have all the field services that then support that.
Yeah. So these consultants that you've talked about, I mean, you put together teams of people who are enormously specialist in various parts of the world. And is that right? That's what you're doing. I presume lots of these consultants will come to see you talking about what you might be doing.
That's right. So, it's a mixture of staff and consultants, but the consultants are very important to that. And, any consultancy, for me, there's sort of 4 golden rules. You've got to find them sufficient work, you've got to pay them well, you've got to pay them on time. That's sort of prerequisites. Actually, what's really important to them is how you can develop their careers, how you can develop their experiences. And that's about ensuring that you expose them to different geographies, different clients, different technologies. And that's how they become, more saleable assets. And, I've got a great example. One of the chaps I took on as a junior health and safety consultant, 6 years on, he was running 2 seismic surveys in one of the North Sea's most congested areas around platforms.
Yeah.
6 years ago, he was essentially a trainee, and actually it's the journey that he's been on has helped us as a business, but also helped develop him. And I think that personal touch and working with clients in much more of a partnership role is how the market will change.
One thing that I've noticed when I've been speaking to you over the years and speaking to my friends in the oil companies and so on is that you've put forward this risk sharing process, which isn't always something that people expect to see. But when you talk to a company and say, what do you want to do and how do you want to do it, you offer a sort of risk sharing thing. Maybe you could explain that and tell us why you think it's such a good idea.
So I've spent 22 years, I think it is now, in the service sector, and I really believe that actually you need to sell value for money. And if you actually look at the underlying contracts that we sign with our operator clients, actually the risk is on us, and we warrant the integrity of our work. So why not actually be upfront about that and say, look, if we don't do a good job, why should you pay the same price? It's very common in other industries. So actually, if we do a good job, you ought to pay your bill, and if we don't, why should you pay the same price?
Yeah.
For me, it doesn't work. It's actually for us about delivering, and if we don't deliver, why should the client be penalised?
So you must be very excited. You're back in the business. You've got things going on. So are you happy to be excited to be back working again?
I'm very excited. I couldn't. In fact, what a great time to be launching a new business. The market's recovering. We've got a stable oil price now in plus 70s. It couldn't be a better dream to launch a business now. There's a positive market sentiment. There's a huge backlog of work programs that just haven't been undertaken and been delayed as much as they can. We'll see that more in 2019, I think, than 2018.
Yeah.
But if there's a time to start, it's now.
So we'll run out of time almost, but you know what I'm like. I always ask that final question, and this is probably as effective as anyone could be for anyone I've ever interviewed, because I don't think I've ever interviewed anyone who started this their first week of of a new firm altogether. Where do you see yourself in 12, 15 months' time?
So we're absolutely determined to build a leading geophysical consultancy. We've assembled a world-class team to do it. We're going to have a lot of fun in the process. There's a huge amount of passion behind what we're doing. There's some positive market sentiment. We've got a lot of support from clients that I never dreamt would come with us. So we've got a great opportunity ahead of us.
Well, wish you all the best of luck and good luck in the new go. And I'm sure you'll be coming back in a year or so's time saying how good it's been.
Thank you very much indeed, Malcolm.
Thank you very much. I've been Malcolm Graham-Wood on Core Finance TV. My guest today has been Ed Bowen, and I look forward to seeing you again in the near future. Bye now.